Hi, welcome to this Corbettmaths video. In this video, we're going to look at the video solutions to the Corbettmaths Practice Questions on cubic graphs. If you need any extra help on cubic graphs, if you go to Corbettmaths and go to the videos and worksheets section and scroll down to video number 344, there's a dedicated video tutorial there on cubic graphs. Alternatively, you can scan this QR code. But in this video, we're going to focus on the video solutions to the practice questions, so let's get started. Okay, question number one. Question number one says, sketch the graph of y equals x cubed. So it's important you know the shape of the cubic graph y equals x cubed, okay? So the cubic graph, and we're going to sketch it first of all, and then we'll talk about why that's the shape in a second. So if I wanted to sketch the graph of y equals x cubed, it comes up like so. So it's quite steep, it comes up, then it goes through the origin, and then curves upwards like so. So that's my sketch of y equals x cubed. And in terms of the key points, it passes through the origin. And let's consider why it has this shape. So let's make a little xy table, so xy table. And if we do an xy table like so, if we choose some values for x, such as -3, well, -3 cubed would be -3 times -3 times -3. Well, -3 times -3 is 9. And then times -3 would be -27. So that's -3 across -27. So it's quite far down there. Then if we have -2, well, -2 times -2 times -2, well, -2 times -2 is 4, because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. And then times 4 by -2, well, then times by negative would make it negative, so the answer would be -8. That's -2 across -8. So quite far down, but not as far down as the -27. -1, well, -1 cubed, well, -1 times -1 times -1 is -1. So it's -1 across -1 down, so there. So you can see that's what gives it that curved shape. And if you were to do -4 across, that'd be -64. -5 across -125. So it goes down very far, very quickly. That's what has that shape there. 0 cubed, 0 times 0 times 0 is 0, so it passes through the origin. Then 1 cubed is 1, so 1 across 1 up. 2 cubed, 2 across 8 up. 3 across is 27 up, cubing that, and so on. So it has that shape, and again, it goes very steep very quickly. And that's it. So that's the shape of the y equals x cubed graph. And it's very important to know that shape. Like you should know that y equals x squared is that U-shaped parabola. Or if you had y equals minus x squared, is that n-shaped parabola. Or if you have y equals x, is that diagonal line that passes through the origin, like so. It's important to know what the shape of the y equals x cubed graph is, and that's the shape of it. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 2. So question number 2 says, circle the coordinates of the point that lies on the graph of y equals x cubed. Okay, so we've just done an xy table up here, and we've got some points there. Let's see if we can spot it straight away. No, it's not actually in there. So let's have a look at them. Remember, they've got x coordinates and y coordinates, an x coordinate and a y coordinate, an x coordinate and a y coordinate, and an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So let's substitute in the values for x into x cubed and see if it gives us the value for y. So if x is equal to -2, -2 times -2 times -2 is -8, like we seen earlier, so it's not going to be that one. If x is equal to 0, 0 cubed is 0, so it's not going to be equal to 1, so it's not that one. 3, well, 3 cubed is 27, not 9, so it's not that one. So it's going to have to be this one. 4 cubed is 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, so it's this one here. And we've been asked to circle the coordinates at that point, so that's it. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 3. So question number 3 says, the x coordinate of a point that lies on the graph of y equals x cubed is equal to -3. So in other words, it's if you were to do the coordinates of the point, it would be -3, comma, something. The x coordinate is equal to -3. And we've been asked to write down the y coordinate of the point. So we want to find the y coordinate of the point. Well, to find the y coordinate is the x coordinate cubed. So we need to cube -3. So -3 cubed. Okay, so we just need to do -3 times -3 times -3. -3 times -3 is 9, times -3 would be -27. So it's going to be -27. So that's the coordinates of the point. We've been asked just to write down the y coordinate of the point, so the y coordinate of the point would be -27. And that's it. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 4. So question number 4, I like these types of questions where we've got the different types of graphs, the sketches of them, and we need to match them up. So here we've got graph 1, so this is n-shaped parabola. I'm thinking the -x squared graph. And then we've got graph 2, and that looks a bit like the cubic graph. Okay, then if we go down to graph 3, it's a straight line graph that passes through the origin, comes down with a negative gradient. And graph 4, that actually looks like the -x cubed graph. So if this is the x cubed graph, and we've looked at it earlier, if this is the x cubed graph, this looks like the -x cubed graph because it's coming downwards instead of going upwards, okay? Okay, so let's have a look at it. So part A. Part A says write down the graph, which is the sketch of y equals x cubed. So that's going to be graph 2. If we look back at this question here, this sketch looks like this sketch here, so it's going to be graph 2. Okay, next one, part B, it says write down which graph is the sketch of y equals -x cubed. So instead of going upwards like so, it's going to be coming downwards. And let's just think about why that's the case. So if we had y equals minus x cubed, and we were to choose an x coordinate such as 1 here, so let's just say 1 across. So that's going to be 1 cubed, which is 1, and then we're going to make that negative, so it's going to be negative 1. If you had, for instance, an x coordinate here of 2, it's going to be 2 cubed, which is 8, and then make that negative, so it'll be negative 8, and so on. Or if you had an x coordinate which was negative, such as here, negative 3 across, negative 3 cubed is negative 27, but then you've got a negative there, which means you're really timesing it by a negative 1, so you're going to make it positive, which is 27. So by having a negative sign here, you're changing the signs. So before it was down here, but because you're changing sign, it's going to be up there. So it's going to flip the graph over. It's going to be a reflection in y-axis. So that's it. So that is graph 4. Okay, and then finally part C. Part C says which graph is a sketch of y equals minus x squared. So it's a x squared graph, so it's going to be either U or n-shaped parabola. Because it's got a minus sign, it's going to be an n-shaped parabola, so we're looking for that n-shaped parabola, which is graph 1. So it's going to be graph 1, and that's it. Okay, let's look at our next question. Okay, so we now know that it's going to be the y equals x cubed graph, but all the y coordinates are going to be 4 or greater. So we're going to be moving that graph 4 squares upwards. So let's do that. So instead of it crossing at the origin, it's going to cross here at 4. So it's going to come upwards, pass through the point 0,4, and then go up again, like so. And that will be the graph of y equals x cubed plus 4. And that's it. So the way I done that was I considered the graph of y equals x cubed and then just added 4 to all the y coordinates. Alternatively, you could have just created a new xy table yourself and chosen some x coordinates such as negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And you could have then cubed them all and then added 4. So 2 cubed is 8, add 4 is 12. 1 cubed is 1, plus 4 is 5. 0 cubed is 0, plus 4 is 4. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1, plus 4 is 3. And negative 2 cubed is negative 8 plus 4 would be equal to negative 4. And then you can just plot those points and see it would be like something like that. And that's it. So it's the x cubed graph, but then just shift it up 4 squares. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 6. So question number 6, this time we've been asked to sketch the graph of y equals x cubed minus 1. So again, we could do a little xy table, or you could just consider it's going to be the x cubed graph, but then shift it down 1 square. Because remember, if you do your xy table, we're going to be cubing all the values. So it would be the same as those values in the xy table for y equals x cubed here. But this time we're going to have minus 1, so we're going to take 1 away from all these values because we're going to cube 3 to be 27, and then take away 1, so it'll be 26. That'll be 7, that'll be 0, that'll be negative 1, that'll be negative 2, that'll be negative 9, then that'll be negative 28. So this time it's going to cross here at negative 1 here, and then it'll have that cubic shape. So coming upwards, passing through negative 1, and then going up again like so. And that's it. So that would be the graph of y equals x cubed minus 1. So just the y equals x cubed graph, but shifted down 1 square. Alternatively, you could do a new xy table for it, and that'll be fine as well. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 7. So question number 7, we've been asked to complete the table of values for y equals x cubed minus 4x. So what we're going to do is we're going to be cubing all the x values and then taking away 4 times the x value. So here for the 3 cubed is 27, 4 times 3 is 12, and 27 take away 12 is 15. So that's why the 15's there. Okay, here 2 cubed, well 2 cubed is 8. And then we're going to take away 4 times 2, and 4 times 2 is 8, so 8 take away 8 would be equal to 0, so that would be 2 across 0 up. This one here, we're going to do 1 cubed, which is 1, and then take away 4 times 1, which is 4. 1 take away 4 is negative 3, so negative 3 there. We've then got 0, 3, and then this one here, negative 2, so we're going to do negative 2 cubed, and then take away 4 times negative 2. Negative 2 cubed is a negative times a negative times a negative, so it's going to be negative, so it's going to be negative 8. And then we're going to do minus 4 times negative 2. So we're going to take away 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So we've got negative 8 minus minus 8. Well, that's going to be negative 8 plus 8, which is equal to 0. So that'll be 0. Alternatively, you could use the table function on your calculator and just do a table for y equals x cubed minus 4x and put in the values of x going from negative 3 to 3, and it would generate that table for you. So let's plot those points. So 3 across 15 up will be there. Next, 2 across 0 up. So 2 across 0 up will be there. Next, 1 across 3 down. Well, there's going to be negative 2.5. Negative 3 would be there. Next one, 0 across 0 up, so the origin there, the origin. So next, negative 1, so negative 1, and then 3 would be there. Next then would be negative 2, 0, so passing through the x-axis again. And negative 3, negative 15 would be down here. So we've got those points, now we just need to do our curve. So it's going to come upwards like so. And that's it. And that would be the graph of y equals x cubed minus 4x. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 8. So question number 8, this time we've been asked to complete the table of values for 10, take away x cubed. So we're going to do 10, subtract whatever the value of x cubed is. So here, if we had 3 cubed is 27, so we're going to do 10 take away 27, which is negative 17. 2 cubed is 8, so we're going to do 10 take away 8, which is 2. 1 cubed is 1, 10 take away 1 is 9. 0 cubed is 0, 10 take away 0 is 10. Negative 1. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1, so we've got 10 minus minus 1, which is 11. Negative 2. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8, so we've got 10 minus minus 8, so it'd be 10 plus 8, which is 18. And then finally, negative 3. Negative 3 cubed is negative 27. We then have 10 subtract negative 27, so it means we're going to add it on, which would be 37. So there are y coordinates. Now we just need to plot them. So let's plot them. Negative 3 across, 37 up. Now each one of these little boxes is worth 1, so 37 is going to be here. Next, negative 2, 18, so negative 2 and then 18 there. Next, negative 1, 11, so negative 1, 11 will be there. Next, 0, 10, so 0, 10 is here. Next, 1, 9, so 1 across 9 up will be there. Next, 2 across 2 up, so 2 across 2 up will be there. And then finally 3, negative 17, so that'll be down there. Okay, so there's the points. Now we just need to do our curve. So let's do our curve through those points. So that's the right hand side of the graph, and now let's go up and do the left hand side. And that's it. So that's my graph of y equals 10 subtract x cubed. Okay, so we've done part B, which was to draw the graph of y equals 10 minus x cubed. Now if we scroll on down, there's a part C, and part C says use your graph to solve 0 equals 10 minus x cubed. So we've drawn the graph of y equals 10 minus x cubed, and we've been asked to solve 0 equals 10 minus x cubed. Now you'll notice here that the y has changed to 0. So what that means is if we look and see where the height of this graph, because we've drawn 10 minus x cubed, if we have a look and see when the height of that graph is equal to 0, then that'll tell us the x value. So that'll tell us the solution to that equation. So if we go up, so we want to find when the height's equal to 0. So in other words here, so whenever the height's equal to 0, so that's the graph of y equals 0 there, that horizontal line, or you may know it as the x-axis. So we want to find where that graph crosses the x-axis. So here if we have a look, whenever it crosses the x-axis, here we've got 2, there's 3. Each of the little lines is worth 0.1, so that will be 2.1, 2.2, that's in the middle, so I'm going to say that's equal to 2.15. So our approximation to the solution of that equation would be x equals 2.15, and that's it. If the equation said use your graph to solve 4 equals 10 minus x cubed, we would go up, we'd find where the height was equal to 4. So we would go to 4, which is there on the y-axis, we'd draw a horizontal line, and we would find where the curve crossed that line, and then we'd go down and read off that value. But in this question it said to solve the equation 0 equals 10 minus x cubed, so we just wanted to find when the height was equal to 0, so in other words where it crossed the x-axis, which was 2.15, and that's it. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 9. So question number 9, we've been asked to complete the table of values for y equals x cubed minus 2x plus 3. So we've got this table of values here, and we've got our values of x going from negative 2 to 2. So we're going to cube the values of x, we're going to take away 2 times the value of x, and then we're going to add 3. So let's start off with 2. This is a calculator question, so you could just type this into your calculator, 2 cubed minus 2 times 2, and then plus 3. So you could just type that into your calculator. I like to put brackets in like so. So you could just type that in and see what you get. 2 cubed is 8. Take away 4, which is 4, plus 3 would be equal to 7. So that'll be 7. Now 1, so we're now going to do 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 plus 3. And when we do that, let's see what we get. So you can type it into your calculator again, and you would get 1 cubed is 1, take away 2, which is negative 1, and plus 3 is 2. 0, that's quite straightforward. 0, take away 0 plus 3 would be 3. Next, negative 1. Now here, whenever you're typing this into your calculator, make sure you put the negative 1 in brackets. So negative 1 cubed minus 2 times negative 1, and then plus 3. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1, and then we're going to be taking away negative 2, and then adding 3. Negative 1 minus minus 2, that's going to be negative 1 plus 2, which is 1, plus 3, which is 4. And then finally negative 2. So we've got negative 2 cubed minus, and then 2 times negative 2, and then plus 3. Negative 2 cubed would be negative 8, and then we're going to be taking away negative 4, and then adding 3. Negative 8 minus minus 4, that's going to be negative 8 plus 4, which is negative 4 plus 3 would be equal to negative 1. So there's the points. Now we just need to plot them. So negative 2 across, 1 down. So negative 2 across, 1 down would be there. Next, negative 1 across 4 up will be up here. Next, 0 across 3 up will be there. Next, 1 across 2 up. So 1 across 2 up will be there. And then finally 2, 7. So 2 across 7 up will be up here. So there's those points. Now we just need to do our curve through them. So it's going to come up, up again. And that's my curve. That's the best I can do here on the computer. I'll probably do this a little bit more curvy if I've done it again. But yeah, and that's it. So that's the graph of y equals x cubed minus 2x plus 3. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 10. Okay, question number 10. Question number 10, we've been asked to complete the table of values for y equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus 1. So again, it's a calculator question, so you can type these into your calculator. Just be careful, particularly whenever you're dealing with the squared here, putting brackets around the x coordinate value. Okay, so here if I wanted to work this out, so I'm going to do 2 cubed plus 2 times 2 squared minus 1. So 2 cubed plus, and then 2 times 2 squared, and then minus 1. 2 cubed is 8 plus, and then here we've got 2 squared. Well, 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8, and then take away 1. 8 plus 8 is 16, take away 1 is 15. So that'll be 15. And this is a calculator question, so you can actually just type the function into your calculator and generate the table of values that way if you wanted to. Okay, 1, so we're going to do 1 cubed, so 1 cubed plus 2 times 1 squared, and then take away 1. 1 cubed is 1, so we've got 1 there, plus, and then 1 squared is equal to 1. Remember, order of operations, we've got a square before we times by 2. 1 squared is 1, times 2 is 2, and then take away 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, take away 1 is 2. That's great. 0, that's quite straightforward. So that's going to be negative 1. So that's going to be negative 1 there because 0 plus 0 minus 1. Okay, negative 1. Now be careful here, particularly with the squared. So we're going to have negative 1 cubed, and then plus, and then 2 times, and then I'm going to put it in brackets, negative 1 close brackets squared, and then minus 1. Just making sure that, particularly if I'm typing this into the calculator, I'm going to be doing the negative 1 squared. So I've got the negative 1 in brackets there. I don't actually need to type in this bracket here or this bracket here, but you just need to make sure you're doing the negative 1 in brackets and then the squared beside it. Okay, negative 1 cubed is negative 1 plus, and then negative 1 squared, well, it's going to be 1 times 2 would be 2, so plus 2, and then take away 1. So negative 1 plus 2 is equal to 1, take away 1 is equal to 0. Okay, now we're going to do negative 2, so negative 2 cubed plus, and then 2 times negative 2, close brackets squared, then take away 1. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8, and then plus. Negative 2 squared is equal to 4, times 2 is equal to 8, and then we've got minus 1. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, take away 1 is negative 1. And then finally negative 3. So we're going to do negative 3 cubed plus, and then 2 times negative 3 squared, and then take away 1. Negative 3 cubed is negative 27, and then plus. Negative 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18, and then take away 1. Negative 27 plus 18 is negative 9, take away 1 would be negative 10. So that's great, we've completed our table of values. And now let's just plot those points. So negative 3, negative 10 would be there. Negative 2, negative 1, when negative 2, negative 1 would be, now each little box is worth a half, so negative 1 would be down there. Next, negative 1, 0 would be there. 0, negative 1 would be there again. Next, 1, 2, so 1 across and 4 little boxes up, because remember each little line is worth a half. And then finally 2, 15, and 2, 15 will be up there. And then if we do our curve through those points, let's see what it would look like. So it's going to come up, and then down, and then, and that's it. And that's the graph of y equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus 1. And let's just check, is there part C? No, and that's it. Okay, let's look at our last question, question number 11. So question number 11, we've been asked to complete this table of values for y equals minus x cubed minus x plus 2. Okay, so we've got our xy table here going from negative 2 to 2 for the x coordinates. Now let's find the y coordinates. So to find the y coordinates, we're going to cube the x coordinates. We're going to times that by negative 1 or change the sign of that. We're then going to take away the x coordinate and then we're going to add 2. So let's start off with 2. So we're going to do minus, and then we'll do 2 cubed, and then take away 2, and then add 2. So 2 cubed is 8. We're then going to change the sign so that'd be negative 8. then take away 2 plus 2, and then that would just be negative 8, because obviously taking away 2 and then adding 2 would just still be negative 8. Okay, now 1, so we're going to do minus and then 1 cubed, and then take away 1 and then plus 2. Okay, so 1 cubed is equal to 1, then we're going to change the sign, so it's going to be then negative 1, take away 1 and then plus 2. Negative 1 take away 1 is negative 2, plus 2 is 0. Okay, now 0, that's quite easy. 0 cubed is 0, change the sign, still 0, take away 0, plus 2 would be 2. Okay, negative 1. So we're going to do negative, and then we're going to do negative 1 cubed, and then take away negative 1, and then add 2. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1, change the sign, so it'd be 1. And then take away negative 1, so that'd be adding 1, and then plus 2, and that'd be equal to 4. And then finally negative 2. So we're going to do minus, and then we're going to do negative 2 cubed, and then take away negative 2 and then add 2. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8, change the sign, 8, minus 2 means add 2, so that's going to be then 10, and then plus 2 would be 12. So those are our y coordinates. And again, you could type that into your calculator if you wanted to, and then we just need to plot them. So negative 2 across, 12 up, each little box is worth 0.5, so 12 would be there. Negative 1, 4, so negative 1, 4 would be here. 0, 2, so 0, 2 would be there. Next, 1, 1, 0 would be there. And then finally 2, negative 8. So 2, negative 8, well, there's 2, negative 7.5, negative 8 would be there. And now we just need to curve through them. So let's do that. And that's it. That's the graph of y equals negative x cubed minus x plus 2. And then that's it. And that's it. So these have been the video solutions to the Corbettmaths Practice Questions on cubic graphs. I really hope you found this video useful. If you need any extra help on cubic graphs, if you go to Corbettmaths and go to the videos and worksheet section and scroll down to video number 344, there's a dedicated video tutorial there on cubic graphs. Alternatively, you can scan this QR code. But I really hope you found this video useful. If you have found it useful, please like it and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, if you know anybody, a friend, a relative, or even a teacher that might find the Corbettmaths resources useful, please share it with them. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.